And a very warm welcome from Tirana in Albania. The ICAO code is Lima Alpha Tango India. We're in the NextGen simulations Embraer Bandeirante P1, and we're going to be flying into Tivat this morning. ICAO Lima Yankee Tango Victor. Just a short hop, 80-90 miles, something like that, so it won't take long. But the reason we're going to do it is because it's got a very interesting approach and missed approach. And with that in mind, let's have a quick look at the navgraph charts. So here we are, Albania, and here's Montenegro. Let's just zoom in and let's switch from the lovely satellite image to the IFR chart. Okay, so we're currently at Tirana International Airport. We're going to be taking off from runway 17 on the INLO 2 Romeo departure, which will take us to this waypoint inLOT. And then it's just a sort of turn to the west to waypoint LASTi. And that's where there's an arrival, but the arrival, as you can see, is just literally just a tiny little hop between LASTi and GOSUT. And that won't take any time at all, and that's where we're going to take over. So we'll use the autopilot and we'll use the GPS for this initial part, but after GOSUT we're going to go completely manual. Okay, we'll fly on the autopilot, but we won't use the GPS, and we're going to follow the approach into runway 14, which is if we look here, there's an ILS, which is an offset ILS that goes into runway 32, but we're going to go into 14, and the approach is very interesting. So we're going to get to LASTi, then we're going to get to GOSUT. GOSUT we're going to be at 4,000 feet, descending 2,600 for the Tango Alpha Zulu TAS Tivat NDB. Then it's outbound 302, descending to the minimums, and we'll get to that in a second. When we get to minimums, 6.3 nautical miles from TAS. That's the missed approach, and we should be visual with the runway and the airport really at that time. We're going to go missed, so it's a climbing left turn onto heading 189 to intercept the 337 outbound from row NDB. Okay, so we're going to track outbound 337. So let's do that again. 157 from Romeo Oscar, and we've got two checkpoints. One is Tango Alpha Zulu TAS at 66 degrees 066, and that's waypoint Decil. Then we're going to get past Decil, and here's the next checkpoint, which is 345 or 008 from TAS, and that's when we start a left turn, max 185 on the speed, and that's max 185 as well, that turn up there, to go back to LASTi, where we do a hold. And after we've done the hold, we can go back and try a landing. Okay, so this is a very complex missed approach, but very, very rewarding. And not just rewarding because there's a lot to think, a lot to adjust, and a lot to keep in mind, and a lot to do, but because it's hard and it pushes those boundaries, and in so doing makes you or any of us a better, more capable airman, even virtual airman if you like. So anyway, just coming back to this missed approach, missed approach point here, 6.3 nautical miles from TAS. Well, there's no co-located DME here at TAS. So how on earth do you determine whether you're 6.3 nautical miles? Well, I've not worked that out. I don't know when you get to 6.3. You can probably plug it into a GPS and have the GPS tell you you're 6.3 from towers, and probably that's what it means. But we're doing this old school. We're going to use needles on the RMI. We're going to use 2 ADF receivers. We're going to have the Podgorica 113 tuned in. We're going to have the localizer DME TIV dialed in. So we're not going to use GPS. So how on earth do we determine whether we're 6.3? Well, the way we're going to do that is to refer to the old chart. Now this is surpassed. This is the old chart. But it's really much the same, except outbound from towers 302, and then you get to this point here, 3.9 from TIV, which is the localizer DME co-located, or pretty much co-located on the airport itself here. So when you're 3.9 nautical miles from there, you know you're at missed approach point. Then it's left turn heading 189 to track outbound 157 from Rome. But of course, this is going to be, 90 degrees from TIV. It's not going to be a very accurate DME reading. Accurate DME reading will be to and from this this DME here, as it would be for a normal VOR DME. We're going to be oblique and offset and 4 miles away. That's never going to be accurate, but it's better than nothing. Okay, and you'll see that that distance clocking down from roughly 6-7 miles or whatever it would be, and when we get 3.9 we'll do the missed approach. So let's look at the missed approach, but we'll go back to the Navigraph charts. So the missed approach is at missed approach point, turn left, max 185 onto course 189, then to proceed to intercept and follow the 157 outbound from Romeo Oscar, and at 008 to towers it's a left turn max 185 to LASTi, which is 23.8 DME from Podgorica. So really complex, and what we're going to do is once around the hold and then back and try and fly the actual approach in full. We'll probably have an appropriate wind, but it's only 1 knot, so heck, I think we can do that. So with all that in mind, there's a lot of setting up to do, and this is a hands-on airplane. This airplane here, it makes you work. It doesn't do anything very much for you automatically, and the autopilot is down on the pedestal, so it's not easy to interact with. So anyway, with that in mind, let's get into the airplane, and we'll crack on. So that's the Embraer Bandeirante. It's a 19-seat, I think, twin turboprop, more or less 1,000 shaft horsepower each side. It's okay, it's quite fast. I like it because of that. So let's get inside and let's get it powered up. So we're going to get the battery on. Tell people the aircraft is inhabited. They're going to put the seatbelt light signs and the no smoking signs on. Going to get a bit of cabin lighting on and the panel lighting on as well, in case we go into some dark clouds, but it's nice weather today. Right, not much to do here. We're going to just run with the default payload, because it's not about the performance today, it's just about the flight and the interesting missed approach. So we're going to just get everything closed here, and we'll just get rid of the yoke. Parking brake is on, so we can get rid of the wheel chocks, engine covers, pitot tubes, tail rod, all that's sorted. Happy with that. We've got 2 GNSs. As I said, we're not going to use those today, and we're just going to switch the tablet off. Right, so we've used the tablet, happy with that, and we're not even going to get a pushback today. We're going to taxi from stand. Let's see which way. Right, so we do a taxi to the left, avoid chopping this fellow up, and okay, so let's get going. So we've got props fully forward, condition levers idle cut off, and throttles are in ground idle. We'll just get these 2 GPS units hunting for their Satellites, acquiring satellites, again warm up the weather radar. Definitely won't need it today. And we'll get the fuel pumps on. And we're going to get the transponder running. We're going to get 2526 set. And we're going to go to on. We'll go to altitude reporting shortly. Okay, so I think we're ready to fire the engines up. So, because I don't want to run the battery down, so we'll do the red beacon, tell people that the aircraft is live. And we're going to start number 2 first. So number 2 is winding up. We're going to get to 12 and put the mixture on, the condition lever on. Okay. Is it turning and burning? Yes, it is. There we go. So okay, check that the starter is disengaged, and it has. Inertial separating come on. Generator number 1, inverter number generator number 2, inverter number 2. Okay, so good start number 2. We're going to fire up number 1. There again, we're waiting for 12, and 12 we have. Right, so condition lever up into low, and we've got light up. And just check the big fan is turning. The big fan is turning. So good start number 1, and inertial separating come on. Then we do generator number 1, inverter number 1 on, and we're all good there. Let's get some heating on. I won't get the static port on quite yet. We need to program well, we're going to put the route in. We'll do it because it's much easier to do it through the GTN 750, and we're going to follow the SID, which is the inload, just to remind ourselves, it's to remind me really, inload 2 Romeo, runway 17, and then we're going to get to the waypoint Inlot, and then direct to LASTi, and LASTi we will put this arrival in, this star, but as I said, it's just a really short straight leg. Okay, so inload to Romeo, runway 17. Okay, so flight plan, set the origin, so that's Lima Alpha Tango India, and we'll do the destination, which is Lima Yankee Tango Victor. Oops, let's do that again. Lima Yankee Tango Victor, thank you. Okay, and we'll add a waypoint. We're going to add LASTi, L-A-S-T-I. Oops, let's do that again. Thank you, LASTi. And now we'll do the procedure. So we'll do load procedure. Departure is the inload to Romeo. That should populate as runway 17. We'll load that. Okay, so we've now got runway 17 all the way to Inlot, and then en route is direct to LASTi. So that's all we're going to enter into the route. We're going to do the arrival, and that is the last 3 Charlie. It's just, as I said, a straight line. So we'll do the arrival, and it's a last 3 Charlie. Here it is, load arrival. Okay, so we've got the arrival, and that's all we're going to do, and that takes us to go. So the rest we will fly manually, and will populate the all the NDBs and the DMEs and the VORs and the such en route.
Weather information for Tirana International Airport, Mother Teresa. Updated 10:20 Zulu. Wind direction 150 at 5 knots. Visibility 9999. Temperature 14 degrees Celsius. Dew point 7 degrees Celsius. QNH 1014. Airport is currently VFR. Weather information for Tirana International Airport, Mother Teresa. Updated 10:20 Zulu. Wind direction 150 at 5 knots. Visibility, 9999. Temperature, 14 degrees Celsius. Dew point, 7 degrees Celsius. QNH 1014. Airport is currently VFR.
So 1014 for the QNH, that's now set, and we're reading pretty much 120 on the altitude. Let's see if that's right. We'll get the departure here, and elevation 125. So yeah, that is the right QNH. Okay, so Embraer 110P1, 2 stages of flap. Right, no why my flaps are down, but they're now back to 2 stages. That's set. We're going to set the auto feather, going to get the hydraulics on, and we're going to get altitude encoding on the transponder, and we're not going to put the taxi lights on yet. We don't want to blind the ground crew. We'll get the static port and bit of heat. Right, so just check my brakes are on. Brakes are on, and just taxi off to the left. Give it a little bit of differential throttle just to accelerate and keep this turn nice and tight. There we go. Right, so now we'll just go straight. We are clear on the right, clear on the left. We'll just follow the taxi line. And we'll get taxi light on. Okay, so trims are set. Neutral. Weather radar can come on. Okay. There's my friend Rory there, look. Flying in the distance. He'll be very amused when we turn up. As you'd be very amused to get a mention. Okay, so we're just approaching the hull. We're not going to backtrack. Very long runway. Good for big jetliners, and for our little aircraft it's more than adequate. So we're going to taxi. ATC have just given us clearance to taxi right onto the runway. So landing lights on, strobe lights are on. Just check the trims once more. The trims are set, and we need to put an altitude in, and we're going to do a flight at 8,000 feet today. So 8,000 is set. We're clear on the left, we're clear on the right. All line up and come to a stop. We won't do a rolling takeoff, not in this. So let's come to a stop on the center line. There we go. Right, so we're now on the center line, runway 17 positively identified. 1717 we got. Right, condition levers full. And you can hear the engines spooling up. Water feather is armed. Lights are on. Passenger signs are on. And I think we're all good. We've got heating on as well. So let's get going. So we're going to let the aeroplane do all the hard work for the departure. That's fine. Of course, we still need to fly the aeroplane. We'll just let the GPS do the navigation. So engines are stable, coming up full power, making sure not to over torque them, and we are in the red down there. So there we go, bringing the throttles back. 100 knots we've got. Gentle rotate and positive rate. Gears coming up. Okay, we'll keep that heading. That's our runway heading. Okay, so one stage of flap can come up. Ooh, noticeable nose drop there. Do you see that? And let's let the aeroplane accelerate. Gosh, we are a bit turbulent today. Right, so just coming left a little bit because we're already a bit off track. Okay, so we heard the wind was 150 at 5 knots, so that's going to be higher and veering as we climb. So flaps are coming up. We're now clean. Okay, so let's get our autopilot on. Autopilot coming on, yaw damper coming on, nav mode coming on, I hope. I'm not sure that's armed, but we'll look. We can climb at 1500 feet. Minute we have, and are we set? Not yet. So let's come round left a little bit and just make sure we intercept that that track there. We're just left of track at the moment. So let's come round left, and then we should get the nav mode on. Altitude is armed, and we're climbing now. Let's go to climb power. So bringing the props back to about 92. 92 we've got. Make sure we're not over talking the engines. We're good. Okay, so we're coming back on the CDI. Nav mode, is it going to work today? No, I don't think it is it? I've had this problem with this airplane. Let's go back to VLOC. Let's go back to nav. There we go, it's captured. Don't know why you've got to cycle the GPS mode once. Anyway, it's now captured the nav, so we're good. And we're just going to increase our rate of climb because we're just speeding up a little bit too much. Oops, not 2,700 feet per minute. Let's go up to 1,800. It is a bit bouncy today. I'll leave it like that. Okay, so we're on the departure, nicely on the SID now, finally. As I said, it is a bit of a handful. I'm going to centre our heading bar, good airmanship, and we'll do some cleaning up. So landing light can come off, taxi light can come off, and inertial separator can come off, increase our climb performance. Okay, and all is good. So auto feather, prop sync, hydraulics. There we go. Just check the power settings so we're not in the red. Everything's good, and we're climbing, and we're really going quite fast. It's a surprisingly quick aeroplane, this one here. So we're just coming up to our right turn to establish northbound, and just check that the aircraft is following it to right turn, and we have, and so keep that centre, that heading bug centred. And when we're on this next leg, and we level off at 8,000, we'll get all the navaids sorted out. So just bringing that heading bug round. Okay, there we go. So get that centred. All right. So we are passing 6,700. Let's just check what the transition altitude is. 10,000, so we're going to remain on 1014. And what we'll do now, because we've departed Tirana, we need to get 1221 for the ATIS at Tivat. 1221 we've got.
Weather information for Tivat Airport. Updated 10:30 Zulu.
Altitude capture.
Wind direction 030 at 3 knots. Visibility 9999. Temperature 12 degrees Celsius. Dew point 1 degrees Celsius. QNH 1014. Airport is currently VFR
1014, it's an easterly breeze, so we're good. Right, let's get some cruise settings on. So props down nice and gently to 84, something like that. There we go. And we'll just make sure we're not over talking the engines. We don't want to go too fast. We're not in a hurry. It's a short hop. So that's all good. Yeah, look at that speed. It's edging up. 210 knots indicated. Ground speed 234. Yeah, that's it's fast. This little thing here. It really is. So let's have a look at the weather radar. I can see it's just giving us a bit of a return. So we'll just have a quick look outside. Okay, there are one or two little thunderstorms. So there's our friend Rory over there in Tivat, Montenegro. So let's bring the chart back in. This is the navigograph chart we're going to look at. And there's the approach, and we need to dial in all these navaids, but before we do that, let's look at the minimums. It's on a separate chart. So the minimums are Cat C, Cat D we are, Cat C we are, so 1840 is our minimum, plus 50, so we'll do 1900 for our missed approach. Okay, 1900. Let's get back to this. So first things first, let's get Tivat localizer DME 1113. That goes into the nav box. So 1113. 1113 we've got. And then we want Podgorica. So 1113 will serve us to get the missed approach point. After that, we don't need 1113. We then need Podgorica. So I'm going to put Podgorica 113.0 into nav2 on the same box. So 1130. So 1130. 113. Oops. Let's try that again, Fabio. Not doing very well today. There we go. 113. So we got TIV, nav1, standby, Podgorica. Right, so that's those two. Now we need the two NDBs. So we're going to do, oops, let's get rid of season, thank you. Tango Alpha Zulu 345, then it's Romeo Oscar 332. So my apologies, that's the dog. Yeah, thank you to the dog for really wolfing loudly. So 345. So 345 we want to get onto ADF1. So 345. 345. We've got. Flip it around, so that's now the active frequency, and the other one was RO332. So we'll do 332 on box 2. So 332. Flip it around, 332. Make sure the RMI is on ADF. It's on ADF. And it's on ADF. So we've got two ADFs. As you can see, they're both not picking up the signal. They're at the 3 o'clock rest position. So we're all good. So how are we doing? Right, weather radars just showing something on the. Oh, there it is. Look. Ooh. Now got a bit of icing happening there. See that? So let's get the windshield icing on. We should check the wings. Yeah, look at that, bit of icing. You see, the thing is with the rubber boots, if you put them on too early, you create what's called a bridge. So the pneumatics boots inflate, but then the ice forms over the inflated boots. So then when they deflate, there's a gap between the deflated boot and the ice. So when they re-inflate the boots, the ice won't break off. So there's a danger that you put the pneumatic boots on too early. You need to wait till it's formed a decent layer of ice before you break it off. So anyway, let's have a look. Is the window heat working? Yes, the window heat is working. So I think we're good. We're not in visible ice at this time. Looks like we'll be flying into visible ice. So we'll switch the window heat off for now, and we'll see what we have to do. We'll monitor that, and what we'll do instead, I'm just going to bring in FS HUD. This is an old version of FS HUD, and I want to get the flight plan page up in a second. Yeah, I don't want to see the map, you see. I want to do this old school. Right, so we've got ADF 1, the receiver ADF1, is picking up TAS NDB. So FS HUD is just firing up, it's going to get the winds. So it's 268 at 12 knots. And just ignore. So let's have a quick look. Are we in icing again? Yeah, we are. Let's get windshield heat on. Right, we're at inlet. And let's bring up the chart. So, Ghost Hut 4,000 feet. So, LASTi. So let's have a look. We're 8,000. Going to lose 4,000. That's 12 nautical miles out, and we are 25 to run. So we won't start our descent yet. I've got windshield heat on, and we are going to be going into weather very, very soon. Let's just center that heading bug. Good airmanship to do that. Okay. So we will start a gentle descent. So we only need to do that 12 miles out, but we want to be all prepped. So I vote that we start a nice gentle descent. Let's dial in 4,000. 4,000 we've got set. Oops. 4,000 we've got set. We'll arm, go to vertical speed, and we'll start coming down very gently. 800 feet per minute or something like that. Okay, so just bring the power levers back. I'm going to keep the windshield heat on, and we might need to cycle the boots at one point. So let's just double check we know how to do that. So engine heat, prop heat, and pneumatics. So we've got two positions, slow and fast. So we'll keep an eye on those. Okay, and we'll just double check the weather. So we'll just put in the 80s.
Weather information for Tivat Airport. Updated 11 o'clock Zulu. Wind direction 030 at 3 knots. Visibility 9999. Temperature 12 degrees Celsius. Dew point 1 degrees Celsius. QNH 1014. Airport is currently VFR. Weather information for Tivat Airport. Updated 11 o'clock Zulu. Wind direction 030 at 3 knots. Visibility 9999. Temperature 12 degrees Celsius. Dew point 1 degrees Celsius. QNH 1014.
Okay, so let's just remind ourselves on the old chart. So LASTi direct to GOSUT, we'll pick up a GOSUT, that's direct to TAS. We've got an easterly wind on the ground about 5 knots, I think he said, and so that will translate to 070, so more easterly, I guess, at 10 knots perhaps at the altitude that we'll be flying. So we just bear that in mind. So it's coming from this direction, from the east, and actually no, from this direction. There we go. And 345 we should have. RO we should have in box 2 on the larger needle on the RMI, and 3.9 from TIV is what we're looking for. I'm going to take this off the screen. I will see it, you won't. So we're just approaching 5,600. We've got 12 miles to run to LASTi, and the DME is showing 11.7, but that is to TIV, I hope. And we said that the minimums were going to be 1900. 1014 is set. have a quick look outside. Okay, we're in clear weather, so we can switch off the window heat for now, and everything else can stay on. We're happy with that. So we're at LASTi at the moment. 9 to run. Nothing on the weather radar. And my friend Rory's still on the ground there. I think he's probably in the bar. I'll be joining him there. Okay, so let's do some approach checks. So, auto feather can come off, sync can come off, sorry, auto feather on, sync off, hydraulics on. So we're just levelling off at 4,000, and we've got 7 to run. And we want to be slowed right down, really, because it's the approach phase. Now we've got TAS has come in, that's pointing sort of over there, and that would be logical, that's where you'd expect to see it. And we'll be heading direct to TAS after waypoint GOSUT. GOSUT, we need to be 4,000 feet, and then we descend 2,600 to TAS. Okay, we've just levelled off 4,000, altitude hold. We'll let the aeroplane slow down. We've got 4.5 to run. And I'm going to prep my heading bug, because I know on the chart between GOSUT and TAS it is 334. So I'm just going to prep that on my heading bug. 334 we've got set. So just remember, we've got an easterly wind, roughly 070, about 10 knots. That's the theory anyway. So GOSUT is now 2 miles, sorry, LASTi's 2 miles away. Then it's the final segment, the short segment between LASTi and GOSUT. After that we're going to go completely manual. On the Embraer, on this NextGen Embraer, you've got the ADF shown here, ADF1. Row has just come in, you see that come in. And you've also got a repeater here, this green arrow here. You can see the head of it here and the tail of it here. That's just a repeater for ADF1. Very, very useful. Okay, so we're just coming in, we've intercepted the track to GOSUT very nicely. I'm going to dial in now. 2,600. 2,600. And we've now got 2 miles to run to GOSUT. And at GOSUT we're going to start flying the approach phase first. So GOSUT is now 1.5 miles away. This is showing us the DME to TIV, I hope. So we're 1 mile away. We're going to go to heading hold. I think we'll do it now. So heading hold we have. We're going to start descending. So, oops, we'll arm that. Start descending. Come down 800 feet per minute. Okay, and we want to go to off GPS mode. Okay. Thinking ahead to the missed approach, if you remember, there is a turn, so we want 334 in the NDB, so we can just monitor that. At the moment we've got 334, we're happy with that. Just going to bring in the chart very quickly. we do this turn when TAS gets to 008 or 345, left turn max 180, and that's inbound 219, or the reciprocal 039 to Podgorica. So I need to get 039 set on this. .039 is set. Okay, so we're just coming down now to 2,600. And we're just a little bit right of track, so it's going to bring the needle round a little bit to the left, the heading hold. And then we're looking for that green arrow there, that green arrow to come back to 334, which it is doing now. And we'll just bring the heading back about half of that change that we made, like that. Okay, so we've just leveled off 2,600. We're going to let the aeroplane slow down. Okay, so 334, we're a bit left of track now, so we're going to come right a bit. We're probably overhead the beacon now, because you can see it's just creeping round to the right. Okay, and then we want to go outbound 302 on the heading. So we're just overhead TAS now, not quite really overhead, so not my best NDB navigation, it's just edging its way around. If it shot round, then we know we're pretty much overhead the beacon. Right, so 302 on the heading. 302 we've got set. We need to go down to 1800, 1900. 1900, arm, and come down 600 feet per minute, it'll do nicely. Okay, we're in flat limiting speed, just going to bring the power levers back, so flat limiting speed, flat 1. Okay, we're tracking outbound from TAS, we're on a heading, we're looking for 3.9 for our missed approach point. We're not going to look out the window. We are not going to look out the window. The next event will be the missed approach point. And we're looking for 3.9. So we were heading outbound on 334, 234, 134, 154. We should be 154 on the NDB. So we're a little bit right of track. Let's come left a little bit. That head of the needle should come back in to 154 as it is doing. Now we'll make that correction back because the wind is from the east, so from this quarter here, so that made sense that it's pushing us that way. So let's keep coming around a bit. We are 1900 feet, flap 2, give it a little bit of power, we don't want to slow down too much. We are 4.4, we're looking 3.9. We will, actually I think we will look out the window very quickly, just to make sure that we've got the airport environment set. Now we can dial in 6,000 because that's going to be the missed approach. 6,000 is set. We're at 4, 3.9 just coming up. We're going to look outside the window when it gets to 3.9. 3.9. So where is the airport? There's the airport, but we can't see it, of course. So we're going to go missed. So we're going to take up heading 189. So left on the heading to 189. I can only do one thing at a time. So 189. Then we start climbing. 189 is set. We're going to start climbing. We're going to arm that. Vertical speed. We're going to get up 1,600 feet per minute. No, go 1,800. You can do it. So we're going to go power levers up. We're going to go to climb power on the props. So that's 92 we're looking for. Okay, and make sure we're not over torquing anything. I think we're good like that. We've got positive rate of climb. 189 we've got, and we want to track outbound on the 157. So when this needle here comes round to 157, I think is what we're looking to do. Maybe I've gone the other way. No, it's this needle here. So you see how easy it is to make mistakes? There we go. So it's not Taz, it's Romeo Oscar, outbound 157. So it's this needle here. When that gets to 157, which is about here, and it's just edging its way, we will take up a heading of 157. We're climbing now, 4,400. We're set and armed on 6,000 on the altitude. We're climbing at 140 on the speed. One stage flap coming up, one to go. $1,000 to go on the altitude. Row is just coming in. We're nearly at 150. About 10 degrees to go. And we're out of flap limiting speed, and we better clean up, otherwise I'll get told off. So flaps are up, we're clean. We'll just check up top, everything is okay. Anti-icing, do we need? No, we don't. Check the wings, they're okay. And let's just keep an eye now on the NDB. So we're just edging round, and we want to do 157 on the missed approach. So I'm going to anticipate that. So it's coming in, it's nearly 155. If you look here, 155 on the RMI. And I'm just going to anticipate it. Let's do it now. So bring my heading bug round to 157. Not too much, there we go, 157 we've got on the heading bug. We're leveled off at 6,000. I'm just going to bring the speed back. We did that turn at the right speed because we had our flaps down, but the next turn needs to be at 185, no higher. So we're at 6,000 feet, cruise power coming on, so 84 or more, like that. Okay, and we're just going to let the speed drop to about 185. We don't want to be any faster than that, because that's what it indicated. So we're tracking outbound, row 157. We've got a checkpoint coming up, which is Decol, Taz at 66. So Taz coming round now. I think we might have passed that one already. Yeah, probably we have. So the next one will be, let's just get that chart back in. It's Taz 008 or 345 008. So 008, there's 360, there's 050, so it's 008 is just here. Okay, and that's when we start a left turn, and we should by then intercept the, if you remember, it was a 038 inbound radial to Podgorica. Speed is good, that's about 165, 170, something like that, so that's below 185, so we're good on the speed. Everything else is looking okay. We'll take up the hold at waypoint LASTi. So Taz we're looking for 008. And is this coming in? I wonder if that's actually starting to move. It would make sense because we are getting closer. So we just look at the CDI here. That is set to, no it's not. It needs to go to Podgorica. So we need to flip that around. 1130. There we go. That makes more sense. So, and that's inbound on 038. Just double check. 038 is set on the CDI. And we are now very, very close to 008 from the TAS NDB. Very, very close to it. And then we'll start our left-hand turn. And should we anticipate that? The wind is coming from the east here. So I don't think we should anticipate it, because otherwise we will be left of track. There it is. See? 038 is coming in now. The needle is just at 009, 008 momentarily. 008 we've got. Let's come round to intercept the inbound course. And we won't bring it round all the way to 008. We'll stop it roughly here, just to give that needle a chance to come in. And then when it does, we can go nav hold. So LASTi is 20... Where is it? I can't remember. It was... LASTi is 23.8 from pod. Right, so we'll just stop the turn now. Wait for this CDI to come in. This radial. That is, if it does come in, because it might not. It might not have given it enough of a cut. Let's come around right a bit more. And what did we say it was? 23.8. So we're 29. I want to give it a chance to come in. Come on. I'm willing it in. So we're stable on the speed. 165. That's a good speed. Happy with that. I've got a stopwatch going, and I'll be ready to time my turn on the hold. But I do need this to come in. And it's just edging in ever so slowly, and it is. We're going to get to the distance before. So it's 23.8. Come on, let's come around a bit more right. I want this to come in. Come on. It's probably my turn. When we got to TAS 008 was a little bit too steep. Anyway, it's now edging in, so we can go to nav mode any second. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So nav mode coming on. It's going to track inbound on this radial, center the heading bug. And when we get to 23.8, we can then start a right hand turn. So the reciprocal is 218. So I'll be doing 218 on the heading knob, and I can do that. I can set that now because we are on nav mode. I can set 218 on the heading knob. Come on. And it's 23.8. It's very close, so we're nearly at LASTi. And I'm going to get that in. Yes, I am. 23 point. There we go. Go to heading mode, and the aircraft will now turn. I'll get my stopwatch running. So 1 minute to do the 180. 1 minute. Let's just get the chart up. So we are here. Just started our right turn. That's 1 minute. And it's a 1 minute downwind leg. And another 1 minute to go back, and then a 1 minute to get back to LASTi, which is 23.8. Then we will track inbound to GOSUT. I wonder what that heading there should be. GOSUT, LASTi to GOSUT. Tell you what, let's have a look on the chart. Maybe it's got it here. LASTi to GOSUT. Have a look, see if we can get the it is 340. 340. Okay, so we've got 1 minute exactly, so we are just leveling off on the downwind leg. So we're 1 minute exactly. Do 1 minute downwind. Now we should do a course correction because of course the wind is coming from the east, so this leg is going to be faster and we're going to be pushed in a little bit. So I really should do a course correction, but I'm a bit reluctant to without knowing the exact wind at this altitude. Well, we've got it here, but I'll just switch that off. So anyway, we're coming up to 1 minute 45, 15 to go, then we'll start our turn back inbound on the 038 radial to Podgorica. So 2 minutes now. Right, so let's get 038 on the heading. So we're good on the speed, good on the altitude. We're going to descend now to 4,000 feet because we're going to come off the hold. So there we go. Hopefully, if I put that heading bug on 030, that CDI will come in. No, let's go through 020. Oh no, I think it's coming in. Yeah, that's ARM nav mode. Nav mode we've got. Let's dial 4,000 and get down to 4,000. ARM vertical speed, let's go down to, right, just reduce the power a little bit. Okay, so we're on nav mode at the moment. Then we want to go, it was from GOSUT to TAS 334, so I can get 334 armed on the heading bug, which I have, which is pretty much direct on TAS. We're just coming up back to LASTi because the stopwatch is 3 minutes 40 and we're looking for 23.8 on the DME, and it looks like that's going to work out nicely. And again, I'm going to anticipate that 23.8. We're going to come around now to heading mode. Heading mode we've got, and we need to descend now to 4,000 before we get to GOSUT. So GOSUT is, let's have a look at the chart very quickly. GOSUT is there a way to tell? 15.1 from TIV. So 15.1, so we need to get TIV back on here. And 15.1 we're looking for, and that's when we're at GOSUT. So we're just leveling off at 4,000. QNH is still good. When we level off, we'll reduce speed, so we've got we're a little bit off kilter. I can't remember what I said it was now. It said GOSUT was 15.1, 15.1, 16.4. Got about a mile to run, but of course that's an oblique angle, so it'll take a bit longer. I'm going to come left because we are off track with TAS. I'm just going to come left. I need that TAS needle to get to 3, I can't remember what it was, 334. So 15.1. We're at GOSUT, so we can now descend to 2,600. ARM. Come down, let's come down at a healthy rate, 900 feet per minute. We're going to just reduce power, one stage of flap, two stages of flap. Okay, and we want 334, it's just coming in shortly. Make the cut a bit greater. So 334, 301 at the moment. remember the wind is coming from the east, so we've got 302, and we can come around now to pick up. So 303 pretty much, 304 direct into TAS 304. Okay, that's good, happy with that. We've got 2 stages of flat, we're just levelling off, or just coming down to 2,600 on the QNH. So 334 we've got, maintaining that, I'm happy with that. I need to just power up a little bit, I don't want to get too slow. And the next event will be overhead TAS. So TAS just edging around a little bit to our right, so just come around a bit more. There we go. So 334 we've got, 334. Just levelling off, so altitude hold we've got. And it was 6.3 on the DME for the sorry, 3.9 on the DME. 334 we've got still, so we're holding that nicely at the moment. And we've just levelled off. Now we need to descend when we get to TAS to 1900. So 1900, oops, let's do that again. 1900. Arm that. Vertical speed, just so we're ready. It's just coming in now, the TAS NDB. We're just slightly to the west of it, but I'm happy with that at the moment. It should just swing around any second. And then we need to take up 302 on the heading. So just track it a little bit more. Just edging round. Okay. What's happening here? Bit reluctant to look outside. That would be cheating. Taking quite a while to get to TAS. But I guess it's right. We are going much slower than we were before. Maybe that's what the factor is. Just going to speed up a little bit. I don't want to get too slow. Right, I think it's coming round now. That could be wishful thinking. Yeah, here it comes. So we'll wait till we get to the 3 o'clock position, and then we'll come around to 302 on the heading. Here we go, 302 on the heading. 302 we've got set. We need to descend to 1,900. We're good on the speed. And we're looking for 3.9 on the DME from TIV, and that'll be our missed approach point. This time we're going to land. Okay. So when we get to missed approach point, we take up a heading 346. So just coming down, and we're looking for 3.9, we're 5.8 at the moment. I don't want to speed up too much, we're in flat limiting speed, nearing it. Just reduce that power. On 40, that'll do nicely. Okay, and we just altitude hold we've got, so we're at our missed approach altitude. I should look out the window, that's the whole point really. When you get down to your MDA. So, shall we do it? Shall we look out the window? No. let's stick with the program, shall we? Because the idea of the MDA is you get down to it sooner rather than later. So you've got more time at the MDA, which is the minimum descent altitude, and you don't go below that. You do not go below that. but you can fly at that and look out the window and see if you've got the airport environment in sight. Now I'm pretty darn sure that we do have the airport in sight, but we're just going to do it by the book. So 4.2, we're nearly at 3.9, and we are tracking away nicely from TAS on 302. So we're 4, and just anticipating a little bit. We're going to look outside the window. 3.9 we've got. There's the airport. So we're going to come around now to 3. I can't remember, 346 I think it was. Yep, 346. Okay, ooh, that's a bit overcooking it. Let's do that again, shall we? Okay, so gears can come down, autopilot can come off, fuel damper can come off. I want to take the heading hold, flight directors can come off. There we go. Right, so we want 3, 4, 6 on the heading. This is the trouble when you've got the autopilot controls down there and you're trying to fly whilst adjusting them. Okay, so we are 120 on the speed. With 2 stage flap, 2 to go. We've got clearance to land, so landing light come on, gear is down, taxi light can come on. There's nobody to bing bong, but the cabin is secure because the safety belt signs are on, so we can just descend at a nice leisurely pace. So let's have a look. What have we got down there? Just tilt our wing. There's the runway down there. We're on 346 on the heading, and we're just going to turn. There's the marina just in our 1 o'clock. We're going to try and turn around that, and we're not going to get lower than 1,000 feet or so. So I'm going to go to climb power on the props. Just give me a bit more control. I'm going to level off at about 1,000 feet. And we're going to start our turn very, very soon. So I don't want to get too low. So let's go flap 3. 1 more to go. Flap full. Go full on the props. Give us lots of control. And we're going to come round, start a descending right hand turn. There's the threshold of the runway, just over here. So let's just check our altitude, 800 feet. We're looking good. So we want to pass this on our left hand side. Ooh. Much steeper than I meant it to be. It is very hard to fly visually on. Oh gosh, look at my speed. Right, there we go. So red, above the red line. Thank you very much. Okay, so we've got 2 white, 2 red. Okay, 2 white, 2 red. Looking good. Come over the numbers at about 100. Okay. And type of props, holding it off, holding off.
Easy does it, Captain.
Do a bit of beta range just so we make this turn off here. That can come off. And on the tiller. Round we go. We'll come to stop the other side of the hold. Okay. Come to stop here. Okay, and then we can do some after landing stuff. So hydraulics can come off, auto feather can come off, altitude reporting can come off, landing light, strobe light can come off. I should have put the inertial separator on, so that's a few demerit points there. And we'll just taxi to stand. Where will we go? Well, we're not going to take up one of the big boys stands. We're going to go into one of the little ones here. That'll do. Oh no, what the heck, let's go in front of the terminal. Why not? Paying our landing fees just the same as everybody else. Right, we'll take up this one here. I need to go out external view to really see what I'm doing. Okay, that'll do. Taxiing like that's really hard. Okay, so parking brake is on, taxi light can come off, and right, so static port that should have come off before, heat can come off, all that can come off. Right, so let's bring the condition levers back, give it a bit of a cooling off period. Bit of simulator, so we can't be bothered. So let's bring them down. Okay, fuel pumps. We'll let them unstrap. So seatbelt signs, no smoking, stay on, and inertial separators. Electrics come off, and let's get the tablet and open the doors. So wheel chocks, parking brake off. Oh, okay, parking brake on. Wheel chocks, traffic cones, doors. Okay, let's have a look outside. So have we got happy passengers? Oh, look at them, they're smiling, they're really happy. Anyway, that's interesting approach, interesting missed approach, and then another interesting approach. So what I had running in the background was little nav map. I really didn't look at it. We're going to look at it now together. So let's have a look. So there's the departure. Well, that's okay because it was following it, and little nav map doesn't draw this correctly. So that's all right, as you would expect it to be. So we've got the first one here. We followed the approach into Taz. Then we got to this point. And look at that, it all looked quite good. Took up a heading 189. We flew outbound. Then we took a left turn. Did the hole, that looks okay. And then at LASTi we took up a heading to go to Gosut. Then direct to at Gosut we took, well, that was a little bit north of Easter track. But we did track the NDB more or less okay. Which line is it? That one there. It was just slightly right to track, but you know, okay. It wasn't too bad. We did correct it at the end. And then, interestingly, these two tracks here were both identical, and the missed approach point was identical. So that DME from TIV seems to work. Okay, so that's a bit wobbly here, and a reasonable circuit for a landing. Did let the speed drop down here, but you know, in my defence, we were doing sightseeing. Not for me, for you guys. Anyway, with that in mind, good time to sign off from Tivat in the really excellent NextGen Simulations Embraer. It is absolutely one of my favourites and knocks the spots off other more recent turboprops that have entered the market, those with maybe slightly more than 2 engines. So if you're shopping for a turboprop, do look at this one. It really delivers. It's not a high price. and it's worth every penny. Really it is. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed that. I'll see you all on the next one. Bye now.